Are you showing up in the day-to-day when it comes to what your partner cares about? Do they feel special and do they feel prioritized? Or are you waiting until the very last moment when it comes to your anniversary to show them, love bomb them, show them how much you care, and in the ways in which you're just defaulting to, which is what society really encourages, right?
I want to make Emilia feel special every day. Now, do I always succeed at that? That's for her to let all of you know. I don't want her to just feel special on her birthday or on our anniversary. I want her to feel special and a priority every single day.
Conscious couples, business partners, and singles committed to attracting their dream partner. Welcome to the Conscious Couples podcast, where we share our life, love story, and combined relationship expertise to help you create and consistently cultivate the most magnificent, intimate relationship possible.
Never again will you feel hopeless and alone in your intimate relationship challenges.
Having accumulated thousands of hours coaching conscious couples and individuals all over the world, as well as starting and growing a global business together, Alan and I are here to guide you in all things relationships.
Thank you again for tuning into the one place where it's not about you or me, it's about the we. Conscious couples and individuals, welcome back to the one and only Conscious Couples podcast, where we are here to help you and your relationship flourish. For those of you who are single, your eventual dream partner and your dream relationship flourish. Before we jump into this episode, as always, thank you so much to Next Level Podcast Solutions for producing this show, and I believe 56 others now. Wild. Today's episode number 91, treat your relationship. Nope. Hold on.
You got it.
Treat every day like it's your anniversary.
Hey.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Work.
I am actually trying not to have my notes in front of me because I want to be in flow and I want this to come from the heart. That is nothing against you with your yeah. Emilia just throws the remark out the window. No, she's more prepared than I am, quite frankly. So, sweetheart, as always, what is your intention for today's episode?
My intention for today's episode for our listeners is to help each one of them that listen to this episode create a meaningful love life, because that's what, when we think about anniversaries, we think about meaning and we think about everything that comes with that. And my goal is to have this episode really help them create more of a meaningful life, not just an anniversary.
So Emilia and I, speaking of anniversary, just on October 27th of 2023, which was last week, surpassed our 4-year anniversary. High five.
Woo!
Strong work, love.
Great job.
And that's actually when we came up with the topic for this episode, because quite frankly, it was kind of nonchalant.
It's like every other day.
It was like every other day. And Emilia and I were like talking to each other and we were like, we're not doing anything for this, really, right? And we kind of had that moment with each other of every day is so special that we don't need to go out of our way. And we still did make it special. It was a cute little date night, but that's not that different than what we do on the reg. So that's where this episode came from, but we're going to circle back. So we're 4 years into our relationship. Go us. And go all of you out there that are going the distance. But going back to the beginning of our relationship, Emilia and I used to extend all these audios to each other constantly. I have them all saved, actually. I think it's like 290 something saved.
My goodness.
We used to audio each other back and forth. We used to call them personal podcasts.
You used to call them.
I called them personal podcasts. She did.
But I was the longer one.
And half of hers, she fell asleep during them. And then I fell asleep during her falling asleep. It's a whole thing.
That's good.
No, but in all seriousness, at the beginning of our relationship, we were sending these audios back and forth, and we created these flashcards for each other. We're a little weird, okay? We are a little weird. Been weird from the get. And on my flashcard, it had the things that are most important to Emilia. We got very clear about what's most meaningful to each other from the beginning of our relationship, quite frankly, because we screwed up all of our other relationships, and we were committed from the get. Let's not mess this one up. This is the one. I can't mess this one up. Mm-hmm. And that was the theme from the beginning. The old ones were, how do I make this work? Mm-hmm. This relationship for me has been, how do I not screw this up?
Same.
It already works.
Right.
Don't screw it up. Don't. So anyways, the number one thing on that flashcard was make Emilia feel like a top priority. Now, when I say top priority, I don't necessarily mean anything other than make sure she knows she's my most important person. We all have persons, places, things, and ideas. We have businesses, we have careers, we have jobs, we have kids, we have fitness, we have households, we have friends, potentially. I obviously don't, since I didn't have it on the list. We have pets. But as far as human beings go, I always said, Emilia, you will be my number one. You will be my number one person, okay? Now, fast forward, we're in the grocery store. This is Thanksgiving, I don't know, 2019, or 2018, 2019. I don't know, 2019. And she turns to me, we're in the grocery store, we're making mini pies. We're getting ingredients. We're getting ingredients to make mini pies. And we're going to a Friendsgiving. We were very late to that due to the mini pies. And she turns to me and she asks, do you love grocery shopping?
If you aren't watching YouTube right now, I highly recommend, because Alan's face was priceless. Just even recalling that memory. Yeah.
And I freaked out because no. Hey, honestly, if there's no kids in the room, fuck no. Okay, so no, definitely not. But I said this, and I went into this little Euclid's axioms and common notions. What that really means is I value you, and if you value grocery shopping with me, then I will value grocery shopping with you. I will try hard to do so. And so that is the birthplace, for lack of better phrasing, of making Emilia feel special every day. No, I don't like grocery shopping. But if grocery shopping with me for mini pies is important to you, out of 10 out of 10, thank goodness it's not, by the way. As we learned each other, we realized that was not. But if that's the case, that's what I'm willing to do, because I love Emilia. And if Emilia loves this, then I love this, or I will work hard to love this. So last story here. Recently, I was on the phone with my business partner, Kevin. He says, dude, I just got this new little whiteboard flappy thing on my desk. Yeah, there's no name for it. So
imagine like a little wedge, okay, like a tablet, and then put like a little mini desk underneath it, like 2 inches. Yeah. That wedge can open up and go down, and that's the flappy part of it.
Yeah. And it's a glass whiteboard. My baby loves whiteboards. I love She whiteboards. Has, I mean, how many whiteboards do we have in this office, honestly?
1, 2 behind the TV, 3, 4.
4?
At least 4.
4.
Yeah.
The centerpiece of our home is a whiteboard as well, and it's Emilia's whiteboard. Mm-hmm. And she just loves whiteboards. I know my honey, she loves whiteboards. Yeah. So when I want to make her feel like a priority, I think Kevin was telling me it, and it holds the iPad, it holds the Remarkable, it holds books. She has a book on it right now. It's actually over there on the desk. And I thought to myself, oh my God, Emilia would love that. Mm-hmm. So no, I don't need one, but thank you, Kev. Send me a link to that now. I want to get that for Emilia. The thing is, I wasn't getting that for your birthday. Now, keep in mind, her birthday was in October. Our anniversary's in October. My birthday's in November. So these couple months are pretty big for us. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get this for her birthday or for her anniversary. I'm just going to. So I told her the other night, this is probably 3 or 4 days ago. I said, I have a surprise for you. I have a surprise. I do that all the time.
I love that.
And she's like, what is it? What is it? I'm like, it's a surprise. So relax. I'm kidding. So it comes in the mail yesterday, and it's a box, just an Amazon box. I didn't wrap it or anything. Who has time for that? Real talk. And I just said, surprise. This is your surprise. Awesome. So we end up opening it. Our cats are pumped because they love boxes, and Emilia gets her little side desk flappy thing whiteboard. My point is, I want to make Emilia feel special every day. Now, do I always succeed at that? That's for her to let all of you know. I'm kidding. Yeah, she says with reluctance. But I don't want her to just feel special on her birthday or on our anniversary. I want her to feel special and a priority every single day. And that's what we are building this episode on top of.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't mean to just go, I was looking back at my notes, so I zoned out for a hot second. But I think what you said was Emilia feeling treated special every single day.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I zoom back at that. And
well, what is your truth, honey?
My truth is, that's why I want to bring it forward, is that literally every single day is so magnificent. Like, to the extent where, honestly, social media doesn't even come close to scraping the surface at how amazing our love life is. And that's just my honest truth, because of how much work you and I put in on the day-to-day to make sure that our relationship feels so deeply meaningful, that we both feel like such a priority, and that we can really honor who we are as people in our relationship. Like it's fascinating because what I oftentimes hear is that, especially when it comes to social media, people are always 20 times worse than what they portray on social media. And I just can't relate to that, because honestly, if anything, you and I are turning it down to not make other people feel insecure, or so that people don't villainize us. And ultimately, like, my every single day is just so deeply meaningful, again, to why my intention was the way in which it was, and why I'm going to kind of pull out some of the things and the stories that you just shared. Because if I could go back and give that to my younger self, all of these things that we're talking about, and if I could go back and extract the way in which you have treated me from the get and help other listeners just like us really cultivate that in their relationship, I genuinely believe that this world would be a better place.
Same.
So do I feel like a priority? Do I feel special? Absolutely, every single day. And I believe it's our duty to really bring forward what it is in the practical, in the tangible, for all of our listeners to be able to cultivate.
Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate that validation and your truth. But I also want to share with our listeners a story where you didn't feel like a priority. There's a couple instances where I made it very clear that you were not a priority. And let me just give you one simple one.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Jason Blackstock, and this is my wife, Lisa. We got connected with Alan and Emilia a few months ago through friends, and we were trying to look for ways to strengthen our relationship.
And right away, we just noticed with Alan and Emilia how they made us feel so calm, and like everything that they did with us was gentle, and it felt so like we could let our guard down right away. And that was something that allowed us to open up and just get closer so quickly. So
yeah, I felt it was very easy to connect with them. And their intuition for our situation was very surprising to me. Both past and present, they just knew us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they picked up on things that we didn't even think they would. They just, even in our mannerisms and the way we would look at each other at certain points in the conversation, it was just really cool to feel like they understood us. And it really gave us all the tools that we needed to work on us when we weren't talking directly to them. So we had like homework to do and things to work on, and it really elevated our relationship in big ways. And I think we're both really excited to keep working with Alan and Emilia, because you're never done working on your relationship. And I just feel like that is, if we're good, then the rest of our world is good with our children and our 4 kids. So
yeah, we're very grateful that we met Alan and Emilia and are looking forward to the future.
So every week I do the grocery shopping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kitchen man. I do all kitchen grocery shopping things with food. Food and fitness is my jam. And we get this fruit platter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we get this fruit platter. And 2 weeks in a row, we hammer this fruit platter. We love this fruit platter.
We love the fruit platter.
Yeah, and there's this yogurt in the center of it. It's cream cheese yogurt.
Delish.
And it's bomb.com for sure. And 2 weeks in a row, I'm doing this leadership course in my office. And every now and then I'll eat during the day, very rarely. But when I do, I'm ravenous because I do intermittent fasting.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who don't know, simplest possible form, I only eat essentially once a day, maybe twice pre-workout in the evening. So I haven't eaten since 9 p.m. last night.
So imagine going your entire day, for those of you who are just coming across this, imagine all day without a meal, and how ravenous and how hungry you are, all the hunger pangs that you've ignored. Alan does that every single day by choice.
Yeah. So occasionally I gnaw on my left arm to make it work. No, but you can look up intermittent fasting, and there's tons of science under this.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of benefits, but it is brutal.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm midday and I'm like, fruit platter, let's go. And I'm taking this leadership course, and I just hammered all the yogurt twice in a row, 2 weeks in a row. The reason why I share this story is I want people to understand that that is the level of dedication that I have to being considerate and thoughtful towards my beautiful girlfriend, Emilia.
Well, you didn't share with them what you did.
I ate all of the yogurt twice in a row. Oh,
why does that matter for this, though, when I didn't feel like a priority?
Oh, okay. So I don't know if I know what you're referring to, but I did end up telling Emilia. So I went downstairs. And I said, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. I was so ashamed.
Because it was that day that it was the second week around where the first, I didn't really say anything because it was like, honestly, it didn't bother me at all. Genuinely.
Yeah,
like,
it's
I want
not
you to
that big of a
enjoy.
deal. But remember, it's the little things that matter.
Yes. And then the second week, I had actually gone down similar time to actually start snacking. And I like had opened up the fridge and there was like the fruit platter and it was carved out the yogurt. And I was like, okay, I logged that. And I was like, wow, he really enjoyed that. Like, I'm really happy. That was my internal dialogue. Like, he really loved that stuff. Okay, awesome.
But you can see it in your energy.
And there was a part of me
not cared about.
There was a part of me that was like, I don't know if it directly translated to not feeling cared about, but it translated to like, oh, I don't have any for me. Like, there's no for me.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the extent of
Babe,
that.
honestly, underneath that, there probably is a little bit of not cared about. Because you made it clear that you love that, and I overlooked that 2 weeks in a row. Now, I know that's a little thing, but for our listeners, those little things do stack up in our unconscious.
Right.
There was this one time when Emilia ate all my French fries, and it did make me feel uncared about.
Yeah.
It really did. And I think denying that is not good.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean it's a huge ordeal and how dare thy eat my fries. I'm not going to freak out about it. But at the end of the day, there was a part of me that was like, wow, that's really inconsiderate.
Well, you care more about food than I do in certain ways. So like,
but
yes, those little things.
You know that. You know how much I care about food. And this is the point.
Yeah.
Is I know how much she loves that yogurt. She knows how much I love fries. Potatoes are my jam.
Mm-hmm.
And we unintentionally make our partners not feel special, not feel like a priority on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And then we try to make up for it on a birthday or an anniversary. And you can't. That's not how it works. We use the Jenga tower as an analogy. You can't take these blocks out all year and then stack them on the top and not have the whole thing tumble.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of anniversaries end up actually being sad, because a lot of times, believe it or not, partners, and this is what my clients have shared, a lot of times partners only feel cared about on their anniversary. And when the partner goes above and beyond on the anniversary, they realize, holy crap, I never get anything like this. Now I'm realizing in this moment the contrast between our day-to-day versus our anniversary is so big, which actually becomes a negative, not a positive. So I'm done talking on this episode, but I do think that it's really critical for people to understand the truth of how inconsiderate that was in that moment.
Well, I think one of the things that I want to share is that you actually came down at like right after I was sneaking that in the fridge, and you were super thoughtful and actually took a moment to pause and then say, look, babe, like this was super inconsiderate of me and I'm sorry. Like you had to apologize, and I was like super loving, right? So here's the through line of this episode, because I know we got to wrap up soon. Ultimately, what the stories Alan just shared for all of our listeners, to be able to create that more meaningful love life instead of having, for example, what you just described, babe, which is on the one day that it's your anniversary, all of a sudden your partners do everything they can to help their perception of what it makes you feel to feel loved, all of that be thrown at you at once. Number one, that's called love bombing. And that makes you just kind of get startled. But then after that,
what does love bombing mean?
Love bombing is when you just throw a ton of love at someone in a very, very short period of time. So it emotionally floods you. And honestly, from a neurochemistry standpoint, it kind of messes you up. So like a lot of people experience love bombing when they first get into an intimate relationship. It's love, 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 love. So much love, we don't even know how to handle it. And that's why sometimes during that infatuation stage.
Is that a clinical term?
Yes.
Love bombing's a known thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. When you're in that infatuation stage, that's why you can't see any of the red flags, because you're just constantly being love bombed.
Yep.
Right.
So your heightened emotions make you naive to some of the detrimental things that are going on, Yeah, it's fascinating the neurochemistry in that. But why I mention that is because that's what tends to happen when it comes to anniversaries. Same thing happens with holidays and vacations and whatever, right? So that's why it's a risky game, because it's not necessarily about the love bombing, but it's the fact that the love bombing is the resort, right? Because of what it pulls away once it's not. When you
there.
say the resort, you mean the crutch or the making up for the lack of prioritization or proactivity.
Exactly. So that's the kind of last stitch effort for all of the little days that weren't intentional, all the little days that couples didn't have a proactive conversation to actually be curious about their partners and say, hey, listen, like, I really want to learn you at the deepest levels. I want you to feel as loved as humanly possible, right? And I want to do that in a way that actually sees you for really the deepest layers of who you are. And having those proactive conversations that actually can explore some of those territories that couples never get into. And when you love bomb on the anniversary, after that anniversary, what ends up happening? You feel that maybe for a couple of days, you feel special, you feel prioritized, you feel love from your partner. But then when you realize that has now been pulled away because it was a last ditch effort, you start to really feel. And
some of that is only for the perception of it's our anniversary for the Instagram post or for the Facebook post, rather than who that person aspires to be and how they aspire to show up in the relationship on the day-to-day.
Yeah.
I always say it's who you are and what you do when no one's watching that always will matter most.
Always.
And that's my mantra, but I apply that to our relationship too. So for some of our listeners out there that feel like a lot of times their partners are doing these grand gestures more for social media or for perception than for themselves. We did an episode on that before. I just wanted to bring that up as well. Continue.
Yeah. And so what I was saying was what's concerning about this is the aftermath. The aftermath can be extremely emotional. It can put you through so much distraught where you feel a huge lack of loss in the love arena and your relationship. And what happens is a lot of us feel, or will feel, a lot of people will feel that, oh, well, my partner's capable of this level of love. Why is that not happening on the day-to-day? And that's something that I don't want our listeners feeling. Maybe you've been there before. Maybe you're there right now. Maybe you hear Alan and I talking and saying like, well, how is that even remotely possible? Because of the day-to-day, right? We have a ton of responsibilities. We have kids, we have friends, we have cookouts, we have family, all this stuff, all of those responsibilities. How could I possibly do what you guys are doing? Right? I know that that's a lot of people and where they're at because I've coached them, I've talked to them, and I've heard the stories. The thing is, though, when you resort to that type of lifestyle, you are not building and cultivating a meaningful love life. That one moment when you do have to celebrate your intimate partner happens in the day to day. And it's up to every single one of us to really capture that moment.
Magic moments.
So it's about the micro moments when it comes to your relationship. Are you showing up in the day-to-day when it comes to what your partner cares about? Do they feel special and do they feel prioritized? Or are you waiting until the very last moment when it comes to your anniversary to show them, love bomb them, show them how much you care, and in the ways in which you're just defaulting to, which is what society really encourages, right? Or are you taking a moment out of your day and are you asking, are you learning, are you listening to what fills your partner cup up? And are you willing to go that extra mile to really put in the work on the day-to-day, or just kind of let things go apart?
So there's two themes here. One is proactivity. One is building love every day. Love isn't built in a day, it's built every single day. And are you letting those things stack toward a meaningful relationship where you have a meaningful life and a meaningful relationship? Or are you trying to make up for your lack of proactivity reactively whenever you realize, oh my God, our anniversary is this month, or oh my God, it's Christmas, or oh my God, it's your birthday. Yeah. And so that's what we're going to end with. We got to jump. So as you know, if you want help with this, we are here for you. We want to see you and your relationship flourish. We've often called it relationship insurance. What that really means is, what if you could have two people in your corner who want to see you win, where you could work with us to guarantee that your love lasts and that you grow together. And again, not 100% guarantee, but you very much increase the probability of you and your relationship flourishing when you do this relationship talks coaching work. If you want to give it a try, free sample, service Saturday. Every single Saturday, we do one free relationship talks coaching session. The link to book will be in the show notes.
In the show notes as well will be your link to register to our next free relationship talks event. We host an event every single month just for people like you, where you want to learn a little bit more about some of this stuff. And in particular, this one that we're going to be getting into is how to practice nonviolent communication. So when we looked at the stats of all of our podcast that had to do with nonviolent communication totally topped the charts. I believe it was double the other episodes that came out in terms of listener score, if you will. And So if this is something that you're struggling with, you're struggling to not fight in your relationship, you're struggling to be heard or feel heard in your relationship, or you know or you feel deeply that your communication is the struggle in your relationship, this is the event for you. And there's going to be a ton of other people just like you that are in this room. You don't have to turn on your mic. You don't have to turn on your camera. You can literally just listen in. And that will be hosted the 16th of November at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we hope to see you there, and we hope that you join us.
We hope that you join us. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. As always, thank you for coming on this magnificent journey with us. And again, as always, it's not about you or me. It's about the we. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Conscious Couples podcast. We love connecting with the Conscious Couples community, so please make sure you follow us on Instagram. I am at Evolve with Emilia, and Alan is a Lazaros 88.
Also, if you or your partner resonated with this episode, leave us a review at the link in the show notes, and please share this with someone you love and care about.
Until next time, remember, it's not about you or me. It's about
the we.